Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Deck, and in today's video I'm going to be doing something that I've wanted to do for a little while. As I'm sure some of you have noticed on the channel, I've been doing a lot more gaming content as of late, and because we have the new generation of video game consoles on the horizon, it's very close now. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X are a matter of weeks away. I thought it would be a good time now to take a look back at the previous generation, and in the case of this video, the PlayStation 4, and go through my entire PlayStation 4 game collection all the way through. So that's what I'm going to do in this video, go through each one by one. This is similar to my Blu-ray haul that I did a few months ago, but this is for my PS4 games, and I'm going to go through and talk a little bit about each one, at least in as much detail as I can or want. So let's dive straight in. Obviously this is going to be completely unedited, completely uncut for the most part. Just going to dive straight in. So kicking us off, we have what is essentially all of the Assassin's Creed series that's available on PlayStation 4. Assassin's Creed Unity, one of my very first PS4 games. Unity is okay. It's definitely not the best Assassin's Creed out there. There's definitely a lot wrong with it, especially technically. The game is better now than it was when it first came out. This game was a buggy mess initially. It is better now, and I've actually heard apparently if you play this game on the Xbox Series X through backwards compatibility, the game is actually running really quite well now. But it's a decent Assassin's Creed beneath all that, and I think there is a decent story here. I really like the setting as well. The French Revolution was very cool. I just feel like this game was a bit more on the generic side of Assassin's Creed. It kind of felt like, you know, following Black Flag, it kind of felt like a little bit of a step down. But then following that, we got Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which Syndicate gets a bit of a bad rap among the fan base from what I can see. A lot of people aren't really a big fan of Syndicate, which I don't really understand why. I mean, Syndicate to me was kind of what Unity should have been. Like, engine-wise, they're the same game, and they play very similarly, but I feel like Syndicate had all of the bugs ironed out, and this one just strong from start to finish. And I really like the assassin in this. Of course, you have Jacob and Evie Fry playing as siblings. That was an interesting twist that we hadn't seen before. The Industrial Revolution in London was a really cool setting. It's one that people had wanted for a while. The gang system they introduced, I thought this was just really good. Again, it's definitely a bit more on the generic side of Assassin's Creed like Unity, but I feel like this was actually a step up from Unity. So I quite enjoyed Syndicate a fair bit. And then we got the Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered. Obviously, this was a game that came out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 the same time as Unity, but it did get a remaster. And yeah, Rogue is a decent Assassin's Creed, actually. There's quite a lot going on with this game. I think it's got a really cool character in the main center of it. Shay Patrick Cormac was a really interesting character, you know, because what makes this game different is that you actually play as a Templar in this one rather than an assassin, or an assassin turned Templar. And that was a cool twist, again, something we've not really seen in the series before. My only issue with Rogue is that I feel like, even though I love Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and I love the ship gameplay in that, by the end of this game, I was kind of sick of the ship combat. I was kind of tired of it. I feel like this was kind of like a bit too much of it, and kind of made that gameplay mechanic feel a bit boring at a point, which was, I never experienced that with Black Flag, which, just as a bit of context, Black Flag is my favorite Assassin's Creed. But by the end of Rogue, I was a bit like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this now. So just as a quick side note as well before we carry on, there are going to be some games that I've got digitally, so like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, I actually played that on PS3, but I do have Black Flag on PS4 digitally, and also like a big game that's missing here is Spider-Man PS4, because I do have that digitally. I also have games like Death Stranding digitally as well. So if there are some games here that you think I might or may not own, I may own them digitally, and that's why they're not here. So games like Spider-Man and Death Stranding, I do have those games, but they are digital. But then moving on, we have Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, this is a game I really need to go back to because I didn't finish Origins, and it's kind of a shame because Origins I actually quite like. It's really good. I think it's one of the better Assassin's Creed games out there. It's not my absolute favorite because I don't love RPGs. As a gamer, RPG just isn't really my genre. And Origins was kind of the first Assassin's Creed that went into the RPG realm, and it's not too bad in this one. I feel like this one has just enough. I think this one has the correct blend of everything. It's got a fantastic setting. You know, the Egyptian setting was so cool, and also the game looks beautiful. Assassin's Creed Origins is one of the most stunning Assassin's Creeds. It's got a great lead character as well, Bayek. I think this game has a lot of really good stuff in it. Again, I need to go back to it. I will play this on PS5 on backwards compatibility because this was a really good Assassin's Creed. I just, unfortunately, I was playing it quite a bit in lockdown, and then The Last of Us 2 came out, and that was the end of that. And then finally, for Assassin's Creed here, we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm not going to lie to you, I've barely touched this game. As I said, Origins was kind of like the correct blend of everything RPG-wise. Odyssey kind of went full RPG, and I just didn't really like it. I think this game isn't really Assassin's Creed. It kind of feels like this was an idea that Ubisoft had and they just slapped the Assassin's Creed name on it. I just don't really feel like this game does much for the Assassin's Creed series. But I mean, a lot of people do like this game. I know someone who absolutely loves this game. Like, I think that this game's really quite divisive among Assassin's Creed fans. But yeah, it just wasn't for me. Moving on, we have a really unique game, which is A Way Out. I really like this game. I picked this up when it came out. I remember being very excited about it. I mean, the creative director behind this game, Josef Fares, quite a big personality in the game industry these days. But this was a really interesting case because they brought out this game and you could play it completely in co-op, and if you played it with someone else who didn't own the game, they could play it for free. And that was really cool. And me and a really good friend of mine, Dan McCann, who you've seen on the channel recently, we actually played through this game together in co-op, and it was a great time. I really enjoyed it. It's not exactly the best game ever, but it's really fun, and it's got a really great co-op mode. You know, if you do play it with a friend, it's really great, and it's a great teamwork kind of style game. And it's also got a really cool story with really cool characters, so it's definitely a bit of an underrated one, that one for sure. And then we have the Batman Return to Arkham 2-pack, which is obviously the remasters of Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City. Two of my favorite games of all time. I adore the Batman Arkham series. I think it's so good. Particularly Arkham City is my favorite of the series. This is a great remaster. Again, if you never played them before or you want to pick them up again, obviously they are great and they all come with all the DLC and stuff like that. I love this package. When they announced this, I was very, very excited. Because yeah, I love Arkham Asylum. I adore Arkham City. And then we'll get to the other games soon. It's a real shame that Arkham Origins wasn't included in this, because Arkham Origins is a fantastic Batman game too. Obviously it wasn't developed by Rocksteady, which is why it's not in this set, I imagine, but really sad actually, because Arkham Origins is really, really good. But this is a great set as it is. And then to go along with that, we also have Batman Arkham Knight, my least favourite in the trilogy. Arkham Knight was a little disappointing, but it also, I feel like it's funny, I feel like it's underrated, but I also feel like it's underwhelming at the same time. Because I do feel like the game gets too much hate for what it is. I mean, the Batmobile in this game is a problem. Like, the way that it's used is definitely not ideal. Like, if it was just kept as a transportation thing and you were just able to drive around in it, it would have been cool. And, you know, the combat stuff in it isn't bad inherently, it's just that it's overused in the game. And when it results in a Deathstroke boss fight where you're fighting Deathstroke in a tank, two of the greatest DC combatants in the world of DC is Batman and Deathstroke, and you have them fighting in tanks, that's when the game kind of annoyed me. But I feel like that this game was really strong in a lot of ways. Graphically, this game is incredible. It still holds up incredibly well today. Really cool characters they brought in, like bringing in the Arkham Knight, really awesome character in my opinion. Scarecrow was really great in this as a main antagonist. I think the Arkham Knight has a lot of really good stuff in it. It also just is really let down by the overuse of the Batmobile, and for me it is my least favorite in the Arkham series, unfortunately. Next we have a little collection here. We have the Bioshock collection. I've barely played these. I've played a little bit of Bioshock 1, I've played a fair amount of Infinite, but I've never touched Bioshock 2. This is a series I will go back to, and I want to actually just sit down and play through all the, the entire trilogy, especially because there is a new Bioshock game in development, so I do kind of want to catch up before that. But it's a fantastic series. Obviously, a lot of people really hold these games in high regard. I do want to go back to them and check them out, because I haven't really scratched the surface at all with any of them. Then we have the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. I picked this up when it came out, and it's fun. I do enjoy this game. I mean, I haven't played as much of it as I would have liked. It is a game I really do need to go back to. You're going to hear me say that a lot in this video. And that is because, I'll just say this right now, I have been really bad these last couple of generations of just buying games and then letting them go to the wayside. I've made a rule with myself for this generation, for going into PlayStation 5, that I'm not allowed to buy a new game, or at least start playing a new game, until I finish the one that I am currently playing. Unless I absolutely hate the game I'm playing, in which case, I can move on to something else. But I can't start or buy a new game until I've bought that, because I've got a lot of games here that I've not finished. And Insane Trilogy is one of them. It's a really strong game. It's a great platformer. I'm a big fan of platformers, and I think this is a really great one. It's very difficult, but therefore it's very fun and very challenging. And it's graphically beautiful as well. And to go along with that, this is a game I've never touched, is Crash Team Racing. Obviously, this was released fairly recently. I've not played it. I've not played it at all. Now, moving into the Call of Duty series, we have Call of Duty Ghosts. If you actually watched one of my more recent haul videos, you would have seen me pick this up. So we're going to go into my Call of Duty opinions now, which is going to be pretty controversial. I mean, I'm a big Call of Duty fan. I like the series. I've played pretty much most of the games, Modern Warfare 2 onwards, and I really enjoy the games. I have my ups and downs with them, but we'll go through them here. Ghosts, really like Ghosts actually. I think the campaign was pretty decent. The multiplayer was fine. Extinction was pretty good for what it was, but it was never brought back, unfortunately. Ghosts was just I feel like a lot of people were expecting big things from Ghosts because it was the first next-gen Call of Duty, even though it wasn't really. But I think Ghosts, it was just kind of a bit more of an average Call of Duty, you know? But still enjoyable. I had a good time with it. And then we had Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which was developed by Sledgehammer. They were the new team brought in who had worked on Modern Warfare 3 in the past. I loved Advanced Warfare. I thought this was such a refreshing change of pace. I know a lot of people don't like the futuristic, advanced movement systems that many games after this followed. But I thought Advanced Warfare was a great time. I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a great campaign. The multiplayer was fantastic in my opinion. I loved the multiplayer. I was genuinely quite good at this multiplayer. I got to Prestige 3 on this one, which is the highest I've ever got. I just loved this. I bought the Season Pass for this one. It was just lots of fun. Lots of fun. I genuinely didn't expect that game to be as good as it was. Then we have Call of Duty Black Ops 3 from Treyarch. Black Ops 3... no, I'm not here for this. Given the fact that probably my favorite Call of Duty of all time is Black Ops 2, I was very excited about Black Ops 3. This game was just disappointing. Like, the campaign is quite possibly the worst campaign in Call of Duty history. It was terrible. The multiplayer was decent, to be fair. The multiplayer wasn't terrible, and the zombies was alright. It was just a very disappointing COD. Like, given the fact this was Black Ops 3, this was following Black Ops 2, there just wasn't really anything here. I found it very disappointing. And I do own Black Ops 4. It's digital, again, so there are some games that have digitally. Black Ops 4, I don't even want to get into Black Ops 4. Then we have Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. So underrated. This game is actually quite good, in my opinion. I think the campaign is genuinely great. Like, as far as the campaigns of this generation of Call of Duty, this is one of the best campaigns, genuinely. It's so much fun. It's so different and interesting and so different than anything Call of Duty's done before. You know, there's all the complaints out there that Call of Duty doesn't innovate and that it's not, it's doing the same thing every time. This time it actually did something different and then nobody liked it. So, and this game, the reveal trailer of this game is infamously the most disliked video on YouTube. I don't know if it is anymore, but it certainly was at the time. So yeah, Infinite Warfare had a great campaign. I will admit the multiplayer wasn't great for this. I wasn't super into the multiplayer. But the campaign and the zombies mode, pretty decent. And I do think Infinite Warfare is severely underrated as a game. I think, there was all this negativity going into the game before it actually released that nobody really gave it a chance. Then we have the return of Sledgehammer with Call of Duty World War II. World War II, I actually finished this recently. I actually went back and played this when it released on PlayStation Plus. I actually went back and played this all the way through. World War II is okay. Again, given the fact this was coming out from Sledgehammer, who made Advanced Warfare, which I loved, I was expecting a lot more from this. The campaign is pretty decent. Like, it's actually a bit more interesting than what I was expecting it to be. There's actually some interesting mechanics in there. But this just felt like a bit of a step down from what we'd had previously. I feel like the World War II setting was good to go back to, but it also kind of felt a bit generic at times, and the multiplayer was very kind of boring. Like, this multiplayer didn't really connect with me. I didn't really stick with it. Like, I'm pretty sure I played more Infinite Warfare than I did this game. So, World War II, yeah, it's just a bit of a weaker COD in my opinion. And then, obviously, like I said, we did get Black Ops 4 after that, which, no. And then the most recent addition to the series, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Probably the best Call of Duty we've had since Black Ops 2. I adore Modern Warfare. This game is brilliant. Campaign, truly one of the best of the entire series. I cannot wait for the sequel to this because we know they're going to do a sequel. We know they're going to do Modern Warfare 2, and I can't wait for that because the way this ends is it gave me those goosebump chill moments. It was so good. And the multiplayer is just so consistently fun. I know that a lot of Call of Duty fans really don't like this one. A lot of people are really jumping on the Black Ops Cold War bandwagon right now. A lot of people really enjoy that game. I've been playing the beta myself. I am going to do a review of the beta, so stay tuned for that. But I love Modern Warfare. I think this game is incredible and truly one of the best Call of Duties, like, ever. It's up there. And now moving into a PlayStation exclusive title, we have Days Gone. This is a game I need to finish. This is a special edition, like, steelbook version I got of the game there, and there's, like, the normal case there. Days Gone, I played it for quite a bit when it first came out, and I played it consistently, and then I don't know what happened to it. I kind of just went off it and then didn't come back to it. But this is a game I will go back to on PS5. It is actually part of the PlayStation Plus collection, so if you don't even own the game, you can pick it up there. But a really interesting game. I mean, this is developed by Sony Bend, who did Uncharted Golden Abyss on the Vita, which was the main reason I got a Vita. And I was excited to see what they're going to do with their first console game. And Days Gone, like, it was good. I mean, it's not amazing. It's definitely not up there with some, like, top-tier PlayStation exclusives quality-wise. But it was fun, and I enjoyed it, and I do want to go back to it, because I did have a good time with it when I played it. And then one that I've not even touched, Detroit Become Human. I literally bought this on release day, and I've never played it. So this is a game I will play at some point. And then a very early PS4 game for me, Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4, like, this game got a lot of stick because it was basically the same as Far Cry 3, which Yeah, it is. I mean, I love Far Cry 3, and for me, like, I didn't really see it as a problem because I love Far Cry 3, and this was just more of it, just in a slightly different setting. But I still enjoyed Far Cry 4. I had a good time with this game. Like, I thought it was a really fun game. Again, it's just because it's basically Far Cry 3.5, so it just depends how much you care about, you know, innovation and stuff like that, you know, whether you actually want it to be a completely different game. You know, if you're going to play through the Far Cry series, you don't really need to play this one. You kind of need to play 3, then you can go straight to 5. But this game is kind of weird in that way, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time. And then another PlayStation exclusive, which I've not played yet. I picked this up fairly recently, but I'm going to play this on PS5. I'm very excited to check this out, and that's Ghost of Tsushima. This is developed by Sucker Punch, who developed the Infamous series, which I love that trilogy. So this is their next game. I'm very excited to check it out. I've heard great things. And then we have the Big Daddy. We have Grand Theft Auto 5. GTA 5 is one of my favorite games of all time. I can't even lie about that. Like, I adore GTA 5. I played this campaign so many times. I just think it's an incredible campaign with fantastic characters, brilliant missions. There are a few really shit missions as well, but for the most part, it's really good. Just incredibly entertaining. A beautiful, beautiful world, which still holds up today. I just still never get bored of exploring Los Santos. I just think this game is incredible through and through. And the multiplayer, you know, GTA Online, the fact that that's still going today is incredible. Even though Rockstar have released Red Dead Redemption 2 in that time with Red Dead Online, it's still not top GTA Online, like, even in terms of its player base. And this is coming through to PS5, and I will buy this again on PS5. I will play it again on PS5, because I just adore the game. And then here we have God of War. God of War, probably perceived as the best exclusive on the PlayStation 4. I have not finished God of War. I kind of stopped playing it. It just wasn't really for me. I really wanted to like it because I heard so many great things about it, and I thought to myself, you know, because I'd never played any of the other God of War games, so I thought to myself, okay, well, this is like a reboot kind of thing, let's go with it. It just wasn't really for me. I kind of found it a bit repetitive, which I know is it's a super hot take, but I couldn't really connect with the game on that way. And I don't know if it's just because of the combat system or because of the mythology behind it, but I just was really struggling with this game. So I know a lot of people adore this game, a lot of people love it, and if you do, that's fantastic. I wish I was with you with that, but it just didn't really connect with me. I probably will go back to it at some point, but for now, I'm just sort of, I'm kind of sad that I didn't really connect with that game in the same way. And also Horizon Zero Dawn, which is developed by Guerrilla Games. I was excited about this game quite a bit going into it. You know, when this was revealed, I was like, okay, Guerrilla's doing something new, really cool. They're moving away from Killzone, great stuff. And going into this game, the problem with Horizon for me was that it came out at completely the wrong time. I kind of had fallen out of love with gaming when this game came out because it followed Uncharted 4, which I'll get to Uncharted 4 later, but that game was so incredibly special to me, and that game was so impactful to me. It was kind of like, I never saw anything else in gaming ever topping Uncharted 4, and unfortunately Horizon came out right after that, so I never really got into Horizon, but I will go back to Horizon, because Forbidden West also looks really good on PS5. And then I mentioned Infamous a second ago, but here we have Infamous Second Son, the third game in the trilogy, even though it's not really connected to the first two majorly, but I really like Second Son. Like, this was like the major exclusive that was first revealed for PS4, and I remember being so hyped to play this game. And I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. I loved the new powers of it, because we've got 4 new powers in this game, and you could have all 4 of them at one time. It wasn't just like in Infamous 1 and 2, we had the electric powers. This, you had all sorts of powers. And the world was really cool. I liked Delson Rowe as a character. I thought he was much better than Cole, to be honest, in the first 2 games. And graphically, this game was great at the time. I just had a great time with this game. I thought Infamous Second Son was really, really fun. And then here we have Injustice 2. I am a big DC fan, as you guys know, and I love Injustice 1. I thought that game was so great. And Injustice 2 just so much better in every way. Like, Injustice 2 took what Injustice 1 was and just completely darted up to 11. I loved Injustice 2. I played through this campaign in one sitting. I didn't leave my controller. I didn't leave my PlayStation. I just binged through this campaign because it was just so addicting and so much fun. And all the DLC they did for this game, all the expansions, the multiverse mode was so much fun. Like, it was a way to keep you playing the game time and time again. I loved all the new introductions in this game, all the new characters they brought in, like Black Canary and Firestorm. Really cool characters, and I just loved everything about this game. Absolutely adored it. And again, I still, until very recently, I was still playing that game, like, because I also have it on Xbox One, and I was still playing it on there to this day. And then, oh, here we go. This is a game that I don't think I've really spoken about this game much, but now's the time to. And I do actually plan to do a big video on this game. If you ever saw my Last of Us 2 essay video, I want to do something similar for this game. LA Noire. wow. This game is so incredible to me and very personal to me. I don't want to make out like this is like an indie game that no one's heard of and no one talks about it. Obviously, this is developed by Rockstar and Team Bondi, but this is one of my favorite games of all time. Honestly, and arguably it could be my favorite game of all time. I just adore everything about this game. I think the gameplay is so unique, it's so incredible, it was so ahead of its time. The world is absolutely stunning. The conversation system that the game has, the cars in the game are so beautiful. The story is really interesting and engaging. I love the characters in the game. There's just everything about this game I adore. I adore it so much, and this game is very close to my heart because, again, I don't really feel like this game gets the love and recognition it deserves. Like, as far as Rockstar games go, people talk about Red Dead Redemption, people talk about GTA, people talk about Bully more than this game, which I think is outrageous. I think LA Noire is such a stunning game. And I literally flipped a table when they announced that this was getting a remaster, because I remember those rumors before this got announced that Rockstar was doing a remaster for PS5, and this was shortly after Red Dead 2 was announced, so I thought, okay, it's going to be a Red Dead Redemption remaster. That's what made sense. But then they said, no, LA Noire, and I freaked out. I was so excited. I just adore this game through and through, and as I said, I want to do a full video on this game and actually do like an essay breakdown as to why I adore this game so much. It's just so special to me. It's one of my favorite games of all time, arguably my favorite game of all time. I could kiss it. I love this game so much. And now moving over to the LEGO games that I have on PS4. LEGO Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. I actually picked this up really cheap because I actually played this on Xbox One. So I've actually not really played it much on PS4. I just picked it up with another LEGO game really cheap. But this was really fun actually. Like, following LEGO Batman 2, which I really loved, I was very interested to see what LEGO Batman 3 was going to do, and this is a lot more general DC than Batman specifically. Like, this is actually very much more like LEGO Green Lantern. Actually, there's a lot of the Green Lanterns are really, or the Lanterns in general are very much the focal point of this, and Brainiac is the villain, who's obviously more of a Superman villain. So there's a lot of like just general DC stuff in this, but it was really cool to go like into the cosmic side of the LEGO Batman universe that wasn't really done before. And again, getting to explore all the Lantern planets was definitely really fun and unique. And then we have LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. This game was really good. Definitely a bit short though. Like, obviously this is just episode 7, and there is some other stuff in there as well to kind of fill it out. But I do feel like this game was really good, really short though. Obviously the LEGO Star Wars games are kind of what put the LEGO games up on the pedestal they are at today. But this was a really good one. I cannot wait for the Skywalker Saga. That game is going to absolutely slap. I can't wait. And then we have, I've not played this game yet, LEGO Marvel's Avengers. I picked this up with LEGO Batman 3. I really want to play this because I love LEGO Marvel Superheroes. That is my favorite LEGO game of all time, and this is kind of obviously in the same vein of that. This is basically the LEGO MCU game, but I cannot wait to check this out. I cannot wait to play this because I think it's going to be great fun. And then the final one here, which I also have not played yet, I picked this up fairly cheap on a good sale, but this is a game I cannot wait to play, and that's LEGO DC Supervillains. I think this looks so much fun. Again, I love the LEGO games. I love the LEGO DC stuff in particular, so I cannot wait to see what they do with this one. Playing as the villains, like I can already see Deathstroke and Reverse Flash there. Great stuff. I'm very excited about that. So I'm very excited to play this. It looks like a great time. And then here we have Minecraft on PS4. I mean, I've bought Minecraft on basically every system there is. Like, Minecraft, say what you want about it, but it's just such an enjoyable game. Like, it's so chilled, it's so relaxing. You can just put it on, just build some stuff, play with friends. It's a great time. And I still, up until recently, I still play Minecraft, you know, every now and then today. It's still an enjoyable game. And then here we have Overwatch. Overwatch surprised me. I mean, I remember playing the beta, really enjoying it, and then I picked up the full game, and this was like my go-to multiplayer game for quite some time. I loved Overwatch. I thought this game was such a blast. Being able to have all these different classes and stuff. This was my first like hero shooter I ever really played, and I had a blast with it. So much fun. Very unique, very different. Obviously, this kind of spark a revolution. We did have a lot of hero shooters, like Battleborn followed this, and then Black Ops 4 kind of copied this in a lot of ways. So Overwatch was definitely a bit of a trendsetter in that regard, especially on consoles, but I loved Overwatch. I thought it was so much fun. Don't really play it much these days, but I was very much into it. And then we have Ratchet and Clank. Oh, this is incredible. I love Ratchet and Clank. This game, like, the Ratchet and Clank series is definitely one that I love. I follow that series quite closely, especially in the sort of PS3 era particularly. But I just love Ratchet and Clank. It's so good, and I cannot wait for Rift Apart. Like, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart on PS5 is like probably my most anticipated exclusive there right now. Maybe outside of Miles Morales. I'm so excited for that because this game really brought Ratchet & Clank back to its former glory. Like, I mean, it was already there. I mean, the PS3 era, you know, the Future series with Tools of Destruction and Quest for Booty and A Crack in Time were all incredible games. But then we kind of had like these weird miscellaneous titles that were there for a little bit towards the end of the PS3 era. This brought it back. This was so good. It felt like the originals. It felt very next-gen at the same time. Graphically, this game is stunning, and it still holds up today. I cannot wait to see what Rift Apart looks like on PS5. It just really felt like true Ratchet & Clank. And again, I love this series. I cannot wait to see where this goes in the future, because this kind of really reinvigorated the love of Ratchet & Clank in the fan base. So hopefully that Rift Apart, now we're getting that, will be the start of like a new series. And then here we have Red Dead Redemption 2. I've not really played much of this game. I was very excited about it, and then when it came out, I kind of played it and I kind of put it down, and then I never really went back to it. I've not really got very far into this game at all. But, you know, it's still a Rockstar game. It's still Red Dead. This game, you know, objectively speaking, is incredible. I want to go back to play this because I feel like there's a lot more to dive into with this game. I just haven't really played much of it myself. It kind of scared me off because it was so big. And then here we have Resident Evil 3. Love this game. I played Resident Evil 2 in lockdown, and then I played this as well. Like, I have Resi 2 on digital. And this game, while I don't think it's quite as good as Resident Evil 2, I still really enjoyed it. There's a lot of complaints about this game that's really short. I don't really have a problem with short games. Like, I don't really have an issue with them. As long as the game's great and fun and enjoyable, I don't really see an issue with them being short. And yeah, this game was pretty short, but it's still a blast. I mean, this game has such strong gameplay. Graphically, it looks great. I love the characters in this. I love the world of Resident Evil now. It's a series I'm kind of invested in at this point. Like, I kind of want to go through and play all the other games now, just because 2 and 3 left such an impact on me. And they were just something I just played Resident Evil 2 on the offbeat. You know, I was just very. I saw it on sale. I played it, loved it, and then I got Resident Evil 3 as well, and same thing. So, love this game, and again, I definitely am going to dive into the rest of the Resident Evil series. And then here I have a steelbook for this. We have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I really, really like Jedi Fallen Order. I know a lot of people have problems with it. I think it's a really fun game, actually. There's a steelbook there, which I got from Game when I pre-ordered it. But I thought this game was really good. Like, as far as like EA, like doing Star Wars games, like they've not been the best over the last few years. But this was the first one, like an actual single-player, narrative-driven Star Wars game. And it was really fun. It had a great story. I loved where it was set in the universe. It had a great villain. And gameplay-wise, you know, it's kind of, I don't want to say it because I know everyone hates it, but, you know, Dark Souls-esque, that kind of more combat-heavy style of combat. It kind of was a lot more like that. And the lightsaber customization was great. Like, I loved all that. That's a Star Wars fan's dream, is to make your own lightsaber, and the game kind of allows you to do that. That was great fun. I just thought this was great, and I'm very excited about the sequel. We know that Respawn are doing a sequel to this game, so I cannot wait for that. Obviously, they developed the Titanfall series as well, which Titanfall 2 had a really good campaign, so that was a good indicator for this. And yeah, they're going to do a sequel, so just please add more planets for this one, though. I don't want to do more backtracking. That's the only problem with this game, is that you do go back to... There's only about 6 planets in the game, and you do go back and forth between them quite a lot, so that's my main thing for the sequel. Just please give us a bit more planet variety, because it was a bit tedious at a point. And then the next game I picked up here we have is The Last of Us Remastered. I mean, I said that LA Noire is one of my favourite games of all time. Last of Us Remastered is also there. I adore The Last of Us. It's just such an impactful game. It's so beautiful. The story it tells, the characters it introduces into the world is just so incredibly well done. It's so well written. And I just adore this game through and through. Like, there's nothing I can say about The Last of Us that hasn't already been said. It's just a truly incredible game, and truly sums up why I love PlayStation and why I love PlayStation exclusives. And same goes for The Last of Us Part 2, which, I mean, this is rivaling LA Noire and the Uncharted series as my favourite game of all time. I just adore The Last of Us Part 2. The story that this tells is unlike anything else. The characters, especially what they do with the characters in this game, is just unparalleled. The gameplay is so much more refined than the first. Even though I like the gameplay in the first, it's so much better here. I just adore everything about The Last of Us Part 2. It's a beautiful, beautiful game. And no game has ever made me feel quite as much as this game has. So, I just love The Last of Us Part 2. I absolutely adore it. I mean, if you want to see my full thoughts, I have done a video essay. It has actually currently been taken down. I am currently putting a dispute in for that. So it will be back up. But yeah, I've done a full like half an hour video explaining my thoughts there. The next game we have here is The Order 1886. This game got so much hate, and I will defend this game to the day I die. Like, I think this game was fantastic. I loved it. this was a PlayStation exclusive a lot of people were excited about, and a lot of people were very disappointed because of how short it was. And as I said when I was talking about Resi 3, I don't really care that the game's short. Like, is it short? Yes, but it's great, so I'm not really going to complain about it. Like, I understand where people come from with this game. Like, you know, you're not going to pay £50 for a game that's only about, you know, 5-6 hours. I understand that, but to say the game is bad because of it, I think is very unfair. I think this game has fantastic gameplay. It's got great characters. It's got an awesome world that it establishes. Like, the world building in the game is really good. It's very interesting. And unfortunately, because of this kind of negative reception of this game, I don't think we'll ever get a sequel, which sucks because I love this. And also, I have a bit of a personal connection with this game because not only am I one of the only defenders of this game, but also, this was my very first Platinum Trophy, which it wasn't exactly a difficult Platinum Trophy, to be fair, but it was my first ever Platinum, so I kind of have a special place in my heart for this game in that way. But I love this game. I think it's so underrated. I don't think anyone talks about it enough. And I do think it's probably one of my favorite exclusives for PlayStation 4. And then the next game we have here is Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Obviously, I've said many times before, I'm a huge Uncharted fan. This was kind of where Tomb Raider took inspiration from Uncharted. Like, obviously, Uncharted 1 kind of took inspiration from Tomb Raider. Then it kind of became its own thing. This is where Tomb Raider kind of took inspiration from Uncharted with this new reboot series. I played this game a few times now, and I really enjoy it. It's just so much fun. It's got fantastic gameplay. The story is, you know, pretty standard, but I think that the gameplay is where this game really, really shines. And I still think graphically this looks great today. And also Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I had on Xbox One, because if you remember that was a timed exclusive on Xbox for a while, was also fantastic. I've not played Shadow of the Tomb Raider though. I will play it at some point. And then we have Transformers Rise of the Darkspark. This was a game I was looking for a long time. I'm a huge Transformers fan. I'm a huge fan of the Transformers movies. Hate me if you want. We've all been through it already on this channel. But this game is really rare now. This game's out of print, and I had to pay a pretty penny to get this game. And yeah, I played it recently. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a blend between the Michael Bay movies, because it's kind of a tie into Age of Extinction, but it's also kind of the third game in the Cybertron series, which, you know, you had War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, and then it's kind of this game. So it's kind of a mix between the two. So it's kind of, story-wise, this game is all over the shop. But I kind of just played it because it's a Transformers game, and I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not very good, but it is what it is. And now we move into, again, one of my all-time favorite series. I'm wearing the ring right now. You can see my Nathan Drake statue up there. This was kind of like, this is like the next step for that. The Uncharted series, the Nathan Drake collection right there. Wow. I mean, Uncharted was, particularly Uncharted 2, was the game that really showed me, kind of a lot younger me, you know, what gaming could be. So Uncharted is very, very special to me. It's possibly my favorite, it's definitely my favorite series of all time for sure. In terms of like what my favorite individual game of all time is, that's something I'm trying to decide right now before I go into PS5. But this trilogy, like the Uncharted trilogy, is so solid. It's so much fun. The first game, Drake's Fortune, even though it's definitely the weakest of the series, it's still fun to go back to, I think. And then Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, probably my favorite in the series, and probably it's definitely one of my favorite games of all time for sure. It's definitely, you know, rivaling that spot. I adore Uncharted 2, that game still holds up today. And then Drake's Deception, the third game, was also just a beautiful, beautiful next step in the series. It was definitely, in my opinion, slightly not as good as Uncharted 2, but still really strong in its own right. I just love this trilogy through and through. I absolutely adore it. And then that was followed up by the absolutely god tier Uncharted 4 Out of Thief's End. Such a beautiful send-off for this series. Like, I was so worried that Uncharted was ending. I was so worried that, you know, they were going to have to wrap up this story, especially because we knew that Uncharted 4 was going to be the final one in the series. But what a beautiful ending. And as I said when I was talking about Horizon, this game actually ruined gaming for me, because I was like, after I finished this game, and the ending was so beautiful and was as good as I'd ever hoped it could be, like, this had a perfect ending in my opinion. I was like, nothing in gaming is ever going to top this. And the only thing that has come close is The Last of Us Part 2. Like, The Last of Us Part 2 was so groundbreaking and incredible, but this game did kind of ruin gaming for me for a few years, and that's, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is. I adore Uncharted 4 though. This game is beautiful. It could be my favorite Uncharted, or it might be my second favorite. I'm not too sure, but it's so beautiful. It's a fantastic game, so much fun to play. It's stunning graphically, and again, what it does with the story and the characters, wrapping up this series that meant so much to me, it was just perfect in my opinion. Absolutely perfect. And it's also felt like a very mature Uncharted as well. Like, the Uncharted trilogy, even though they're fantastic games, You know, they can feel a bit juvenile, but that's also just because of the way the character is, especially like Nathan Drake as a character. This felt like the series had really matured by this point, which was really nice to see, as it was the final game in the series. Or so we thought, because that was when we got Uncharted: The Lost Legacy a year after. Now, granted, this is obviously a bit more of a standalone spin-off for Uncharted. This doesn't follow on the story from Uncharted 4. This picks up with Chloe, who we didn't see on Uncharted 4, so it was really nice to get that, and it also features Nadine Ross, who is one of the main villains from Uncharted 4. This game is great. It's truly a fantastic series entry. Like, a lot of people, I think, was very quick to disregard this game because it wasn't a mainline series entry. It was kind of like this weird spin-off. But don't disregard this game. Like, Lost Legacy, it's better than Drake's Fortune. It's probably better than Drake's Deception. And it's definitely up there with A Thief's End and Among Thieves. It's really good. It's so strong. Playing as Chloe was definitely a really strong decision for this, because I really missed Chloe in Uncharted 4. Like, I felt it was really weird that she wasn't in the game, because she's a pretty big character. So catching up with her was really nice, and again, working with Nadine, it kind of added a bit more dimension to Nadine as a character too. So the Indian setting was also a beautiful choice for it. I just thought this game was really good, and it adds a lot of really cool gameplay elements too. It kind of really builds on the foundations that Uncharted 4 built. So overall, this is just an absolutely incredible series. Again, I adore the Uncharted series. It's so beautiful to me. It's so personal to me, and even though I know everyone loves Uncharted, like unanimously everyone loves Uncharted, but it's such a special series to me. Like, Uncharted 2 showed me what gaming could be, and that's really what brought me into the gamer that I am today. So Uncharted is very, very special to me as a series, and yeah, I'll never forget the Uncharted series. And now we have a game that was very underwhelming for a lot of people, but not really for me. Watch Dogs. This game had so much hype going into it. A lot of people were so excited about Watch Dogs. I thought this game was fun. Like, it wasn't great. It wasn't the best thing in the world. It definitely wasn't as good as Ubisoft definitely wanted it to be. But it was fun. I enjoyed it, and I think that it started a good precedent for the series, and I think it still looks kind of cool. But I thought the Chicago setting was cool. I liked the hacking gameplay. It was very Ubisoft. Like, it was very much Ubisoft open world up there with, you know, like with Far Cry and Assassin's Creed, you know, going around, taking out these outposts and doing these collectibles and stuff like that. It was very much a typical Ubisoft game, but I kind of enjoy those, so it wasn't really a problem for me. And the hacking was an interesting thing, so I really enjoyed it. And it started off a good precedent for the series. Unfortunately, though, we did follow that up with Watch Dogs 2, which Watch Dogs 2 is such a weird game. Like, in other ways, I think this game is so much better than the original, and then in other ways, I think it's so much worse. This game is definitely what Watch Dogs 1 was trying to do, in that this game is a lot more focused on hacking. Because Watch Dogs 1, yeah, you have the hacking element to it, but it's more like you just press this one button and something will happen. This game actually has more in-depth hacking abilities to it. And, you know, combat and gunplay aren't as heavy in this one as they were in Watch Dogs 1. Because in Watch Dogs 1, you could literally just go into an area and not even use the hacking. You just pull a gun out and just shoot everybody. Watch Dogs 2 isn't really like that. It's a lot more focused on actually stealth and using the hacking to stealth through areas. But definitely a more interesting world for sure. I think the San Francisco setting was a lot better than Chicago. It was just a very bright and colourful world. But the characters I didn't like as much in this game. Like, I quite liked Aiden Pierce a lot in the first game. I thought he was a very cool character. And all the other characters that surrounded that, like Geordie and T-Bone, were really cool characters. Watch Dogs 2, the characters are kind of cringy. I don't really enjoy the kind of, you know, internet meme savvy thing that they have going on with these characters. It's just very cringy, and it kind of feels like they're trying way too hard. So again, this game's weird. Like, I think it's really good in a lot of ways, and also a massive disappointment in another way. So it's a bit of a weird one, but we are getting Watch Dogs Legion this month, which I am actually going to pre-order for PS5. I cannot wait for Watch Dogs Legion. I think that game looks fantastic, and I think Watch Dogs Legion could potentially be my favourite of the series, so I'm hyped for it. And then the final two games we have here, kind of a disappointing one to end on, because I haven't really played these games all too much, but Wolfenstein: The New Order and Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. I have played a fair bit of Wolfenstein: The New Order. I bought this when it came out, and I played it a fair bit. It's a pretty good first-person shooter. I did just kind of get bored of it eventually, but it is a game I do want to go back to and play. And then same with The New Colossus. These games are definitely good. I do think they are good. I think they are very strong first-person shooters. I just kind of got bored of them eventually, but I will go back to them. And I think we probably will get a Wolfenstein 3 at some point. We'll see whether that actually comes to PlayStation or not. Obviously, this is now owned by Microsoft now, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes down. But again, it's a strong series, and I understand why people love these games, and I do want to go back to them and play them, because they do seem like a good time. But there you have it, guys. There's my PS4 collection. That's all the games I own. I do actually have some other stuff, like I say, on digital. I do have stuff. And I actually, yesterday, as of recording this video, I actually sold a few games that I had. Just games I didn't need anymore. But that's my PS4 collection. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Again, I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I wanted to wait until closer to the end of the year so I could make this video. Because I just thought to myself today, I thought, well, I can make this video today because I can't really think of any more PS4 games I'm going to get. I've got my PS5 pre-ordered, I've got Miles Morales pre-ordered, and like I say, I'm going to pre-order Watch Dogs Legion, so I don't really need any more PS4 games. There's nothing coming out for PS4, so that's really it. So I thought I'd do my collection now. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate that. And as always, guys, if you want to see more gaming content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me, and I hope to see you guys again next time.